Okay, this is gonna be how I cut up a whole bird chicken. So this is how I break down a whole bird. There's many different ways you can do it. So this is just one way, but I'll just show you how to do it. So I always start with the legs. I'm gonna go right down here in between the breast and the thigh. It's kind of hard to see on this angle. I'm going straight down, and then I'm going to go right along here next to the lighting so bad, next to the tailbone, right in here in between the bones. Then now I'm into the joint of the hip, and now I'm just kind of running along the back. You want to get this, it's called the oyster meat. It's on the back and it's attached to the thigh. So I'm scooping that. Now I'm right at the joint, and it helps if you kind of like break the joint right there. And I'm not getting the bone, I'm going in the joint and going along the back. So that is a leg and thigh quarter. You can keep this whole, or you can additionally cut here and have the drumsticks and the thigh separate. And I'm just cutting down here in the joint, not getting any bone here. And so here is a skin on bone in thigh. This is how we prefer to do it, but you could also take off the skin and you could debone the thigh just by cutting the bone out there. You got the drumstick. So that was one leg. Let me show you a wing. So I just grab the bird by the wing and I go right in the armpit right there. And I'm kind of just pulling it back and getting the joint again, never cutting the bone. And just take off the wing. Then you can do, so you can do a whole wing if you prefer, but we like to do the chicken wings like a buffalo wing style. So I cut straight down, again getting the joint. Kind of takes a little practice to find it. Kind of wiggle your knife through the joint. So there's the little drumette wing, and then this is the flat, so we're going to take off this portion. Again, just getting in the joint, not cutting any bone. And so there's the two wing pieces. This usually goes in a bag for broth. Show you the leg again. So getting in between the knee and the breast, straight down. Usually like pull and push, break that joint a little bit. Then along the tailbone, trying to get all of the meat, not the bones, going through the joint, scooping that oyster meat that's along the back. And there's the leg quarter. You could keep this whole, or if you prefer, like we do, take it off at the joint. Like that. Then there's your bone in, skin on thigh. And the drumstick. Let's see the wing again. And the armpit. I'm pulling. And there's that. And increase. And increase. You kind of just get a feel for these things over time. Sometimes I use a poultry shear for this. You can do. Alright, so now all that's left is the breast meat and the tender that's behind the breast. So you know there's skin on this. So I do a boneless, skinless breast. So I get the skin off There's a little piece that's holding it here and like the armpit still. And then on the neck, it's being held. So I just free it up, free the skin up on the top. And then I just peel it down like so to get to the breast meat. And I leave it attached for broth. So a lot of times there's some really nice fat and stuff on this bird. So I will save the ribs and the breastbone and the skin for chicken stock or chicken broth. So now I have the breast exposed, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut along the keel bone. So there's just a bone right here in the middle. So I cut one slit on one side and one slit on the other, and it's going to go all the way up here and then up the breastbone like that. And you want to cut all the way through both layers. So below the breast meat, there is the tender meat, the tenderloin. So I'm just going right along the keel bone, kind of just getting through one layer first, get the shape of the bone. And you can see there's the tender meat below. So now I'm going to make sure I get the tender. So I'm going all the way down to the back of the rib cage and up along the breastbone. I'm kind of just like peeling it away with my fingers. I know the angle is hard here and the lighting's bad. Sorry. And there's always like a little bit more right there that I like to get to keep the tender meat a lot bigger. And then there's that little tendon right there. You just separate that and then just keep running along the rib cage. And then when you get to where you can kind of see through, you can go ahead and take it all the way off. So that is the breast, and then behind it you can separate out the tender. So that's your chicken tender, and it always has that little funny cartilage thing on it. Chicken tender and the chicken breast on one side. So let's do the other side. So there, I've taken off the one side, and now I'm going to cut along here and fold it over and take that off. So let's do that now. Just cutting along the keel bone like that, right there. And moving up to the top of the breast. So you can see there, I've got the breast basically has fallen over to the side. There's still the tender here, so I'm gonna make sure I get the tender. Cutting down to the rib cage, kind of peeling it back as I go. It's not really attached that well, so you just kind of glide your knife. You don't really have to cut much there. You're just kind of separating it. And then here I'm cutting it off. So there is the breast, and separate out the tender. Yeah. So now all that is left is mostly bones, the neck, fat, skin. So I usually package this for broth along with these two little wing tip things. That's usually my broth pack. And then I do a pack of wings. I normally do multiple birds at a time, so I'll do like a pack of like 8 wings. That would be 2 birds, or you could do 12 wings. That would be 3 birds, because you get 4 pieces off of 1 bird. And then I usually do a pack of 4 thighs and 4 drumsticks, 4 breasts, and probably 12 tenders because they're really small. So that's one way you can do it. And now let me show you also, if you want to cut up a whole bird this way, I I have a nice little bird that turned out pretty good. She has some good fat inside. So I wanted to keep this one as a spatchcock. So I actually need my poultry shears for this. They're in the house, so I'm just gonna kind of show you what I do, and then I'm gonna go in and get my shears. But basically you just cut along the spine right here, and you just remove the neck and the spine, and then it's just the whole bird laid out flat, and so there's no hole in the middle. So to do that, you just start along the tail, and you are cutting the bone. So, and actually it may work for this one with my knife because she's a smaller, younger bird. So her bones are really small. So I just cut along the spine there. And then on the other side, I normally like to do poultry shears for this and just cut along right there. You can also start moving from this side on the neck, just cutting along only in the back, not cutting any in the front, just the back. Just making the cuts connect. This would be for like a bird you have that's smaller and you want to cook a whole bird, but you don't want to have to stuff anything in the middle. It cooks a lot faster. I like it for on the grill. So there is the whole spine, the neck, the tailbone cut off. And now the bird is open. I normally put a little slit right here, like in the bone right there. And then you can break it and it lays flat a little bit better. And so that is your little whole bird that's called spatchcock. That's a spatchcock bird. So these are really nice to do as well. If you didn't want to do cuts, you could do that. So I'm gonna get to my little girl who got hurt. So yep, that's how you can cut up a whole bird.